Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to apply handlebar tape to your bike. So let's go ahead, let's run through the steps. So here we have the bars we're going to be wrapping. Now there's various different methods you can use for doing this, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it really. Some people use different methods, it just depends. So with these handlebars, they got a flatter top on here. They're not round at the top, they're flat. So it all depends. If you've got some real big aero bars, they could be really wide at the top here. You might be stopping the tape about there. You might not even be wrapping nowhere near over here. You could have external cables, internal inside the handlebars, so you ain't got to worry about the cables in the way. This is just a traditional bar. It's got, as you can see, gear and brake cables there. Being as they're flat on the tops here, you can hide them underneath, out the way like that. So what you want to do with those, if you got them, there's no need to have them like that. You can get some electrical tape on a roll. You want to wrap around here somewhere just to anchor it to handlebars there, and then you've got to think before you tape it up over here. You can wrap the whole bar if you want to. You can put insulating tape all the way around here, but what you got to think of is where you want it to stop. So measure from your stem and find a place where you're comfortable, where you want it, where the bar tape is going to finish. So wherever your actual tape is going to finish, then the best thing to do is, that's where you want to put a bit of insulating tape round to anchor the cables, like in this instance, to the handlebars, because they're not internal cables. So I say, put your hands on the bars, have a look, see where you want it to finish, and then put your insulating tape round there a couple of times just to hold those cables in place, and that point there then will be where your bar tape actually finishes. I say, you can get this tape and wrap it all the way around here to hold those in place if you want, but one piece here, a couple of times round, another piece over here, wherever you want it finished, is adequate enough to hold those cables. So what we do is, obviously we're starting this end, this is on the right hand side. So with your tape, this particular tape, so you can peel back the backing on there like that, leaves a sticky section, so you just peel a little bit back like that to start with. Now what we're doing is we're going inside like that and then out like that, so the inside out. So we're wrapping it effectively clockwise round. So on the end here, obviously you've got to have enough to allow your bar end to go in, but you don't want too much there, otherwise you're not going to get your bar end in. Some of them are push in, some of them you could have a little hex head that holds it in, just depends what you've got. But using that sticky point as a marker there, we'll just stick that to the bar, and then the piece without any sticky on it, we'll leave that on the outside. So as like that, for instance. So you put that on there like that, and then we'll leave it the same width all the way around. So that'll be the point that's sticking out, as you can see there, all the way around. The sticky part is actually onto the handlebar. So we've got that like that, and then you go round like so, and as you can see there, that's the point where the plug's going to go in. So you don't want to keep going around the end, because you have a big bump on the end of the handlebars, and it'll look, and it won't look right. You'll have a bulge on here, and then it'll start going onto the handlebar. So you just want to go round effectively once, so to speak, and then start going round the actual bar itself. Remember always to keep a bit of tension on the tape when you're doing this. Don't just wrap it round with that, you've got to be pulling on it. You've got some tension on that tape at the same time as we start going round, and keep the tension on it as you're going round, and keep an eye on for the overlap. You don't want too small an overlap, and at the same time you don't want too big an overlap, because it creates too much, it creates a bulge, if you see what I mean, and not enough, then you risk the tape, the bar showing underneath. So we got the tape. The tape has got stretch in it. If you stretch the tape like that, you can feel it's got a bit of bounce in it. Most tapes are the same, depending on what you've got, obviously. So you just keep some tension onto it like that. At the same time, we're just rolling the backing paper back at the same time. And we're going over again like that. Just hold it in place while you reposition your hands, and then put some tension on it again like that. Remembering, just keep the gaps, the overlaps uniform as you're going round. Like so. So we just keep going round like that, keeping them equal. So it's not a race, doesn't matter how long you take to do it, you just do it, keep the tension on like that. If you have to reposition it, just back it off again, keeping the tension on, and lay it down again, like so. So I'll just keep going round to the curve here, and then I'll show you what we do when we get round there. So what I've done, I've just stopped there for a moment, just so I can show you. Now the strips, additional strips that you get with your tape, if you get any, if you haven't got any of these, the old tape that you took off, for instance, you can always use a piece of that. Now these, like this, what you do, if you want to do it this way, there's a couple of options. I'll just show you this one. You just cut a piece off, so you just mark it, put it inside the handlebar like that. So it's just round inside where your cables are, if you've got any, and then tuck that around there like that, so as it finishes like this. So it's just covering the clamp, the handlebar clamp here, so you're not going to see it when you carry on wrapping it round. So what we'll do is you put that in place like that, and then like that, and then you carry on with your, as you would wrapping your handlebars. Make sure you got it covering on the inside as well as the outside, and then carry on going round like that. And then always be mindful when you're doing this here, you've got enough here, don't stop it short of the lever there and leave a gap. You've got to remember when the hood is rolled down, it's got to be able to cover here. And also you don't want it here, you don't want to scrimp with it when you're going round here, because it can move and then start showing the handlebar. So just be careful you wrap it tight enough there as you go round. Keep hold of that like that if you have to, if yours hasn't got enough sticky on it, and then go underneath there like that again, like that. So you've got it nice and tight underneath the lever there, and we know we've got enough here so it's not going to come undone or anything. And then you can go round like that, and all you do is go up and over your lever slightly. You want to allow enough here, you don't want to cover up any points in the lever where the piece of rubber sticking down locate into anywhere, especially on the top here. You've got to remember that when you're wrapping it, you don't accidentally cover them, so you've got to allow enough so it's out of the way like that, so it's not going to interfere when you roll your hood back down. So as you can see there, you can't see the clamp for the lever like that. So that's one method of doing it. So when I'm doing the other side, I'll show you the alternative method for that. So what we do now is we go on over like that, and then keep going around like that. and we'll keep going round until we get to the desired finishing point. So on the right hand side I showed you that method. On this one I'll just show you the alternative method. If you don't want to put a piece in here to hide the clamp, we'll do the alternative. So always remember, when you're coming around the curve here, make sure you're overlapping the tape enough, because as you go around the curve, obviously the gap's smaller here but it's wider at the back there, so the tape might poke out over time if you're not careful. So you just want to go round. So we've got it, as you can see here, the tape is just about a finger's width there away from the actual lever, the bottom of the shifter. So what we do when it gets to that point, so before you go round again to cover that, but at this point what we're going to do is leave that gap there, then we'll go round like that, and then you want to go round there, and then when you get to this point you just go over the top like that. So you remember keeping out of the way of any areas that the hood needs to attach into later. So you go round over the top, so you see you've still got a gap there, then you go back under here like that, and then this time we'll go round under there. See, that will cover that point there where the clamp will be, so that will cover that, and it will fill in the gap here we just had. So when the hood goes back down you can't see the handlebar, so it's tight under your hood there. Then you come back round like that as you would, then you just go over the handlebar again like that. So when the hood's back down, I'll just hold it there, put the hood back down like that, there you go, and you can't see anything on the inside or on the outside like that. So that's the alternative method if you don't want to put the piece in to hide the clamp. Just do it like that. So if you can slow that down again if you want to, but it's very simple. I can just undo it like that, just take it right off again. So obviously when you get to that last bit, leave a gap, go round over the top instead of round, just go over, keeping it out of the way, go down, round like that, and then under there as you would, come round again, and then as you come round you just go over the top, and then you just carry on wrapping your handlebars as you would like that, and then flip your hood back down. So that's the alternative method anyway. So when it comes to finishing your tape and you want to make a neat job of it, and you know exactly where you want it to finish, say you want it to finish just here, the easiest way to do it, obviously you don't want to mess this up because obviously you've only got one set of tape. So what you do is get a marker pen, so you can use a coloured marker whatever you've got. So I'll just put a mark just there on the tape like that, and then with your final wrap when it's coming over the top like that, as it comes over, so we know where the mark is underneath. So we do that, so the mark's under there, so we'll put it over the top, and then we'll put a mark on here on the tape, put the black dot there on the piece of tape there, and then just unwind them like that. If we back it off, as you see there, we've got a black dot there and a black dot there. So then with your scissors, what you want to do is diagonal across to that one. So we just take that, just line it up, and we just cut down there to that dot like that. And then what we'll do, see again, as you want it to finish, to put a little bit of stretch on it, that come round there like that, and that'll finish it off like that, and then all you do is when you put your tape on, your tape stays on the handlebar tape, it doesn't touch the handlebars at all. So when you wrap it, it's a clean finish, as in this side. You don't wrap on, you don't put your insulating tape or the tape that come with your particular bar tape, whatever you're using, to finish it. It doesn't actually stick onto the handlebars at all, it's just on the tape. So when you put it on, just stick it down on that and it'll go over that. Now I'm showing you with it like that so you can see it finished on the top, but when you've got your marker pen, if you want to finish with this piece obviously underneath so you don't see it, underneath the handlebar for instance, if you've got nice wide top aero bars, you want to finish this bit underneath so it's out of the way, then all you do is do the opposite what I did, just mark underneath instead of on top. Then you end up with the thin piece coming round underneath so it's hidden out of the way, and you've got the smooth part that's on the bottom here would be on the top if you do it, if you mark it underneath instead of on top like I showed you just then. So we just finish that off with the tape. So all that's left to do now is just flip your hood back down like that, and then pop your plug in the end. Say some of them use a hex head to put the bar end in. Some of them you can just push them in to finish it off. So I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.